All right, everyone. Week 1 of the NFL season is in the books as of tonight officially. So we're just going to take it on down the list. It kicked off Thursday night with the ring ceremony. Philadelphia played Atlanta. Philadelphia edged Atlanta 18-12. Moving on into Sunday's games, Denver got past Seattle 27-24. Carolina ended up edging Dallas 16-8. Washington put a hurting on Arizona 24-6. Jacksonville ended up coming out over the Giants 20-15. Tampa Bay and New Orleans got in a high-scoring game, 48-40. New England pulled out against Houston 27-20. Minnesota got past San Francisco 24-16. Miami ended up beating Tennessee 27-20. The Bengals ended up pulling one off against the Colts. That one was kind of surprising, but it wasn't at the same time. We'll get into that later on. They ended up winning 34-23. Pittsburgh and Cleveland ended up in a tie. That was kind of odd in overtime. Ended up just tying it out. They both missed a field goal. Baltimore absolutely destroyed Buffalo 47-3. That was a madhouse of a game. And of course, my beloved Chiefs pulled past the Chargers 38-28. We'll get into that game later. That'll probably be a separate video. 9-game win streak over the Chargers. Glad to see that. Moving on to Monday night. Monday night's games were the Jets and the Lions. The Jets just absolutely murdered the Lions. Not as bad as Baltimore did Buffalo, but seems like the last 3 years Buffalo's gotten off to a really slow start. But the Giants ended up beating the Lions, the Jets ended up beating the Lions 48-17. LA pulled away from Oakland in the second half. The end of that game was 33-13. That one was kind of a surpriser to me. I knew LA would be a tough team, but I didn't expect them to pull away from Oakland like that in the second half. I don't know what really happened. I know the officiating wasn't that great. Now, of course, I'm a Chiefs fan, so it's rare that I root for the Raiders. Actually, I never do, unless it's going to help us out. But yeah, the officiating wasn't that great from the highlights. I've watched Kansas City over the years playing games where you got to play against the refs, and it just sucks, man. Every time LA threw a deep ball, there was always some crappy pass interference call. I think there was one in there that was reasonable. The rest of them were just shit. I mean, they could have been called a lot better. But anyways, there was some surprises around the league for me, and there wasn't. Baltimore came out strong. That doesn't surprise me. They looked like they had a good offense in the off season. They picked up a few weapons there. Philadelphia played without Carson Wentz, of course, but they still got the job done. Typical Nick Foles fashion, unless he's in the playoffs. Cleveland hung tough with Pittsburgh. I was kind of hoping they'd beat Pittsburgh. We got Pittsburgh next week, actually. Kansas City does. But the Browns they look good. Their defense looks stout. It's good to see them actually playing well again, or playing decent, I should say. Cincinnati has kind of come out of their rut from last year here in week 1. They had a lot of problems last year, couldn't get anything going. Miami beating Tennessee, that was kind of a surpriser, but then again, it kind of wasn't in a sense. San Francisco played Minnesota really tough. I knew that'd be a good game. Minnesota just got past them with that defense. New England and Houston, I didn't think Deshaun Watson would play like he did last year. I know people were on that hype train for Deshaun Watson. I just personally, I didn't see it, especially after an ACL tear. He only threw for 100 and something yards, whatever. New England still got the 7-point win. New England's pretty slow in the first part of the season, though. Probably about the first 4 games, and then they really heat up. Tampa Bay and New Orleans, that one was a shocker. Ryan Fitzpatrick just lit it up in Tampa Bay. I don't know what to say. I know there was another team, another year years back where Fitzpatrick just lit it up in the first game, threw ridiculous numbers out there, and they started him, and he just absolutely sucked for the next 8 weeks. Jacksonville, I didn't watch the highlights to this game, so I can't tell you much about it. I don't know if the New York Giants just played tough or if Jacksonville just looked like crap. I know Bortles didn't do near as good as what he did last year, though. Once again, I'm not surprised. I think the only quarterback at this time that's playing like he did last year is Jared Goff, in my opinion. Dak Prescott looked like crap. Case Keenum looked all right in Denver. He threw some picks, but he looked decent. Aaron Rodgers was being injury prone again, but he came back and led the comeback. So I guess he's, Aaron Rodgers just doing Aaron Rodgers stuff, but he's getting a lot of injuries lately, dating back to last season. But Chicago looked tough. Seattle, they played decent. Carolina, well, they're just Carolina, just barely doing enough to get by. I don't know who they got next week, but I don't expect much out of it. Washington, I'm surprised that defense played as well as they did, but they were playing against Sam Bradford, so Alex Smith got some reassurance there, but that's typical Alex Smith, only 24 yards. He did play good, though. I'll give him that. I'll give the credit where it's due. Adrian Peterson stepped up, and Alex Smith played pretty decent. So, it's, what? I don't hate Alex Smith. He's gone, but I don't hate him. I think Patrick Mahomes did a hell of a lot better job than he would have. But, Alex Smith got the job done, and it's good to see him playing well in Washington. We're going to go back to the Kansas City game a little bit here. I'm just going to give a little bit of input on it. I'm not going to go deep into it because that's going to be another game another video I'm going to upload here in a little bit. We're going to touch on this and then go back to the Raiders games because they're our division rivals. The Chargers are known for a slow start, and they are known for, just not getting it done in general. A lot of people pick these guys to win the division, and I will say this right now. The video that I watched, nobody picked Kansas City to win this game. Not a damn one of them. There was 3 of them that took a vote on it, and all of them unanimously picked the Chargers. The offense was just unstoppable. I mean, Tyreek came out. Tyreek was hot. Tyreek pretty much ran that whole offense. He said he wanted to be a force this year. He wanted to be more of a receiver than he did anything else, and he did just that. Now, of course, next week in Pittsburgh, it's going to be different. They seem to be the only team that can shut down Tyreek Hill, from my knowledge over the past few years. Well, the past 2 years he's been in the league. So that's going to be a different challenge, but the play calling was brilliant. I mean, the trickery that they pulled off against the Chargers, half the time on the goal line, they had no idea where the hell the ball was. The triple option really messed with the Chargers. They just didn't have enough guys to cover all 3 of the guys. It was a read option, and then there was a pitch back. So they couldn't figure out how to defend that. And Mahomes is just simply. I'm not gonna sit here and try to beat up on Alex Smith, but I will say this: Mahomes is doing exactly what Alex Smith was not doing. There was a specific play, and I'll try to find the picture for you and show it here in the video, but there was a specific play where he could have checked down to Kareem Hunt and he could have easily got the first down, but he went over the top and he ended up throwing a touchdown pass 37 yards to Anthony Sherman, the fullback. Ball spread was great. Run game looked good. Nobody rushed for over 100 yards, but all of them put together was over 100 yards. I mean, the offense just clicked, and we're going to absolutely need that against Pittsburgh. It's really good to see us get an early step up on this division. I know it's week 1, but it's really good for a rookie to get out there and get ahead of the division. Denver's hanging in right behind us at 1-0. The Chargers are obviously 0-1 in the division and in the AFC conference. Denver got a win, but it was an NFC, it was a non-conference game. We're going to go back and touch on the Oakland game. If I'm bumming out some of your teams, sorry. Some of these games there's not much to say on. like Baltimore and Buffalo, that was just an absolute blowout, so we're not even going to pass up on that, or we're not even going to pass on that. So we're just going to let that one go. But Oakland and LA, we're going to go back to this one a little bit. I just watched the highlights for it, and I'm really surprised. You know, I figured Oakland's offense would score more points than this. It was super close at halftime. Oakland had the lead 13-10. Oakland is honestly the team. If Kansas City stays on the playing the way that they are now, they're the team I expect to be seeing at the end of the year. I say this because, you know, I thought their offense had it in them. The defense played a lot better than what I thought they did. I mean, there's 33 points up there. A ton of those points came from pass interference calls that put them down on the goal line and interceptions. I mean, when you take a defense and you put them on a short field, no matter how good they are, it's not going to work. I think they did a pretty decent job stretching out the Rams. It looks like a lopsided game, but just like I told my friends that are Raiders fans, you know, it is what it is. You know, it was the first game for Gruden. It's just week one. It was a non-conference game. At least they didn't lose one in the AFC. At least they didn't lose a divisional game. They got a divisional game next week against Denver, and I'll be doing all my week 2 predictions. But, you know, I just thought that Oakland's offense was going to do more than that. It just didn't seem like they was getting the ball to Nelson as much. It didn't seem like they was getting the ball to Cooper as much. Jared Cook had a hell of a first half, and he got shut down the second half. But you could tell he wanted to play. He ran over Talib's ass once that I seen. Just straight truck sticked him. But, you know, that's my opinion on that. We're already at 12 minutes. That's my follow-up for week 1. There's going to be more videos out. Week 2 predictions. There's going to be my follow-up on the Kansas City game, since I am a Kansas City fan. So I'll see you guys on those videos.